Hello, Guardians. I am Ransom Rider. I'm in the kitchen today I'm using my focus to make snacks, treats for gamers. These are gamer snacks, and it's part of my gamer series of snacks. Be sure to check out my other videos on my channel and hang with me as we make a gamer snack in celebration of Scotland. And I played with some folks from Scotland. I recently did some Welsh cakes. Today we're going to Scotland. Great Britain, hello, Guardians, stay with me. Okay, let's get going. Now, I don't often make shortbread cookies, which is today's gamer snack. So I have a recipe handy. You may see me refer to it. Follow the instructions. Read twice, do once. All right, now what do I have? I've got 56 grams of self-rising flour. This is my self-rising flour. No, this is my self-rising flour. You got to look at it. You got to look. Don't put salt in this. This is self-rising flour. Salt will come later, and it's just a pinch. All right, in it goes self-rising flour. Tap it, get it all out. 19 ounces or 538 grams of all-purpose flour. This is my all-purpose flour, and this was, remember, that was 56 grams or 2 ounces of self-rising flour. So in goes the 538 grams. Move the bowl aside. 2 ounces of rice flour, or this is 56 grams. 56 grams of white rice flour. In it goes. Set that aside. Now, 8 ounces of sugar, but I'm using the original traditional recipe. This came about from one of the Queen's visits to Scotland. Queen Victoria made a visit to Scotland. She stayed at one of the famous castles, palaces, I think a castle in Scotland. And the name of that castle is Scone Palace. And the cook, the chef, actually made this exactly as we're making it today and presented it as a treat that night to the Queen. So now in goes here, this is 8 ounces of sugar. I'm gonna put about half of that in because we're gonna reserve half of it to be added a little bit later. All right, now let's sift the flour. Word of the day, sift. This is all of my dry ingredients. I do want to add just a pinch of salt because my butter that I'm going to be using later is unsalted. In that goes. That's going to offset some of the sweet. It's going to bring forth a depth of flavor to these wonderful cookies. All right, shake it. This is a lot of ingredients. I'm going to have a big batch. You want to sift your flour to make sure that there's no lumps. No little pieces of super hard that might work its way through. Because you want your cookies to have a beautiful, wonderful crumble. That rice flour that I used in this mixture actually is going to benefit the crumble. It's going to kind of give it almost like a sandy texture that will melt in your mouth. All right, that was a good job. Thank you, sifter. Now, all my ingredients are in here. We want to come in now with 198 grams of unsalted butter. And Guardians, this is kind of a room temperature butter. It's going to be soft. You can see it here. It's pliable. All right, I'm just going to cut my butter up and work it into my dry ingredients. If this were chilled, you could probably do this with a grater, but I am going to be working today by hand. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way and just do it by hand. Get in there, butter. Get in there. All right, in a glop glows. It's very room temperature. All right, let's set that to the side. And let's go in, and I'm going to use the best tools you can have in the kitchen, hands down. The best tool, your hands. Let's get this all incorporated. Now, this is a lot of butter. This is called a shortbread. And it's short because of the amount of butter fat compared to other ingredients. It's a lot. And I did use, Guardians, a fantastic European butter. Most of your European butters are going to be higher in fat content, and you want a really good high fat content butter. So just check the back of the butter package when you're out shopping and look for the fat content on the butter. Now, I want this to form a shaggy dough. And Guardians, I like working with my hands. I think Ikora Ray is probably, I think she probably does a lot of pastries at home. She works with her hands. She is probably, into pastries. I think so. Ikora, make us some bread. Bring it to the tower. We want to see you do something other than just stand there. All right, this is looking good. It's looking incorporated. I don't want any big chunks of butter to remain. So this is feeling good, like I could work it in and form a ball. So now I want to go into the next step, right? I want to do the next step. Now, if you're working and you don't have, you don't want to get your hands into this like this, you don't want to dig in, you could use a mixer, you could use a stand mixer. There's a lot of different ways in today's modern kitchen, Braytech appliances, and you could actually go into this with your mixer or your stand mixer. All right, it's looking good. I'm going to add the rest of my sugar. In you go, sugar. Set the bowl to the side. And then I'm going to do something that is super traditional. Remember, get up on my head, glasses. Remember that this was made for the queen, right? This is made for the queen. So I'm going to crack an egg into a separate little container because I want to practice, good etiquette with my eggs. I would not want to ruin this with an egg that maybe came out of the shell and it wasn't good. And I don't want any shells in there. So the egg is beautiful. This was a happy hen. In it goes. Get in there, egg. Now, that is a non-traditional step that is actually very traditional because we are told from the recipe that was used, they have a lot of information from that time. She kept a diary. The staff kept diaries, and the household butler knew what was being served, what was going on. And we have the recipe. They used an egg. In most of the recipes that we would use today for a shortbread cookie, it's butter, it's sugar, it's flour. This one, we're going a couple of steps beyond because I did put the egg in, and I also used rice flour, which they did use for her visit to the castle. All right, I'm going to continue to make sure that my egg is fully incorporated and that this gets to a shaggy point where I can actually form it into my pan. I'll be right back. All right, Guardians, my dough is nice and shaggy. I think this is going to work. I have followed the instructions exactly the way the pastry chef made them for the queen. So I'm going to butter my pan, and I'm using a mold form pan. I want to get butter on this. I want it to release really well. I could probably put a little bit of the rice flour on the bottom of this to even help it further along. But you could use this pan for a lot of other things. I don't want to be shy on the butter because I definitely want this to release when I pull it out of the oven. Now my oven is preheating to 350 degrees, but some ovens vary, so you want to be sure to keep a watch on these. Don't really open the oven up, but these are to remain a very light. You know, you don't want these to be dark, you know, unless you love a dark, crunchy cookie. These shortbread cookies are normally, they are served on the lighter side. So you want to keep these on the lighter side. And remember, we did go back to the very first original recipe, and I'm excited to see what these turn out. As I said earlier, I don't really make a lot of these. I need Ikora's help in the kitchen. All right, now I'm gonna have some tea. I have my big German glass filled with black pekoe. Nice. Now I need to get my butter out of here. Move along, butter. Nothing to see here. And my pan is really thoroughly buttered up. I don't want these to stick. And I am going to put these in with my hands. And then we're going to mash them in. I want those forms in the bottom of my pan. I want them to feel. You know, I don't want a lot of air bubbles in there that would ruin the design. So in it goes. Now I could pat this out, and I think I'm going to have enough that I probably can pat out a few and do a more traditional cookie, which is kind of like a finger cookie. All right, let's get this in. I want to make sure that it's up thick enough to get all of that mold shapes so that it comes out beautiful. Now, the funny thing about this is, Guardians, this might not come out beautiful, and they will still taste good. Now, if I was going to make these the way I would normally make a cookie, I would have probably added some vanilla flavor in here. But remember, this is for my fellow Guardians in Scotland that I get to hang out with in-game Destiny 2. And it's absolutely my favorite game. All right, is this looking like it's going to be? Maybe. I want to push some of this to the edges. I want an even distribution. Distribute this evenly. The joys of cooking, Guardians. If you haven't really dug into the kitchen to make a tasty gamer snack, get in there and make something fun. And then, you know, send me the recipe. Let me know what you like. If you're watching this video and you've stayed with me this long, leave me a comment on what your favorite gamer snack is, because I really want to go to some of the other countries that where I get to play with people. And we've got a lot of countries to go. We're going to be snacking around the world, gamer snacks around the world. It smells delicious. It looks good. I mean, the color is phenomenal. All right, now, firmly packed. And then I'm going to go over it with just the bottom of one of my measuring cups, because I want it to be even and make sure that I've uniformly packed it in. Now, how does that look? Fair to middling, fair to middling. Now I'm going to take just a small wooden dowel or a cake stick, and I'm going to make some holes in this because I want this to cook evenly. And I'm not the best with a straight line, but get a few of those holes in. If you wanted to be super perfect with this, you'd get a ruler out. And you kind of want to take that all the way down so that it is going to help aerate the cookie and help it bake evenly. And this would keep it from having air pockets, because you don't want a big air pocket blowing up inside your shortbread cookie. I'm gonna pop this in the oven, and we're gonna let these bake for about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on how quick your oven is. And then we're gonna pull these out after they cool down, and we're gonna sample these and see how delicious they are. Now remember, this is a snack for all my fellow gamers in Scotland. Hello, Scotland. Hello, hello. Into the oven it goes, and I'll be right back. Hello, Guardians, I'm back. I know it feels like it's just been a couple of moments. I am back. My pan has cooled off. I have pulled my cookies out, and I've actually gone through and given them a slice with a really sharp knife. They were still a little bit warm when I cut these. Let's now do the important part. The baking is done. The taste test is here. Let me get a little lemon in my tea. You want to serve these with a nice cup of tea. Get out of there, little seed. All right, seed in my tea. Get my tea over here. You want a nice cup of tea with this. All right, they are cut. They are absolutely beautiful. Which one do I want to try? Normally you would see a lot of thistle on these. The thistle pattern is very commonplace to use inside of Scotland. Let's give these a taste test. Now remember, this is the exact recipe taken from the night these were served to the Queen. Let's give them a taste. Guardians. Oh. These are so good, Guardians. I know the Queen was thrilled to have these when she visited Scone Palace inside of Scotland. So good. These now, of course, are enjoyed around the world. And I want to just give a big thank you to all the Guardians that I play with inside of Scotland. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Guardians, good gamer snacks equals good gaming, means together we win this war. I am Ransom Rider. Destiny 2 is my favorite game. Hang on, let me get some tea. Join me in the gaming world of Destiny 2 very soon. Together, Guardians, we win this war. Jason, Zatu, thank you for being my friend. I'll see you in the next battle. Bye, bye. Thank you, Guardians. I'm going to have another bite. So good. Come have one with me.